Good morning. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and rocking with us for another edition of the Morning Breeze, man. Always rocking with you guys, as always, man. Outside of me, I got my guy, Mr. Media himself, Jordon JC, in the building.
That's right.
The best show for Chicago.
Breeze Nation, what's good? It's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love to another edition of the Morning Breeze. A lot to get into on today's episode. Nothing to talk about with the Chicago Bears because we're knee deep in offseason talk. The draft breakdowns are coming, ladies and gentlemen. We can't just throw them out there. You gotta look at the players. It takes time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's ugly out here for Bears content. But we did get something last night as far as the NBA All-Star game that I thought was very, very interesting. And wanted to talk about the difference that was made last night. One of the best All-Star games that we've talked about in years. Got to talk about that. And can the NBA actually have a foreign face of the league? All that more on today's episode of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Daily, the Morning Breeze edition, of course, with me and Jordon JC. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. JC, what's going on, my boy? How you feeling, man?
Oh man, what's going on? I am in recovery mode, man. I don't know if you knew, man. I had my tooth pulled.
Oh yeah. Oh, we got video and pictures. I must say, it is.
Yeah, it's not fun, bro. I'm not even gonna lie to you, man. The pain that I felt leading up to getting it pulled, I almost wanted to end my life. I'll just put it like that. So I'm glad I'm past that.
You know what? I will say the worst pain I've ever had in my life is definitely tooth pain. Bro. The worst pain ever by far it was debilitating.
I know a lot of people sit here and say that, oh yeah, your nerves go from your tooth all the way around to your different parts of your body. No, that mess is true. Like it'll give you a headache, it'll cripple your leg, you can't walk, you can't move. Boy, I was 85 years old for a couple days.
Yeah. Well, glad to have you back. Glad you're alive.
That's right.
Saw you on the ride home with on the ride home. Saw you giving life advice off of the happy gas. Watch yourself, man. You keep yourself together.
Please make sure you keep your teeth clean. Do what you got to do. Floss. You do not want to go through a cavity removal. It was ridiculous. But
mine wasn't even cavity. Mine was my wisdom tooth decided it was just going to pop out and push all my teeth in the wrong direction. Yeah, it was a lot of pain. So I've been there,
crazy.
bro. I've been there. Stay alive, dog. Stay alive.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's do it.
Let's talk about a little bit of NBA basketball. A little Nuba, as Drew calls it. Before we do that, appreciate you guys tuning in to show love as always. If you could...
Come on. Push the button. Come on. Push the button. Come on, push the button.
Yeah, come on, push your button.
You heard what she said.
Y'all heard what Sue Young said. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, man. Dog, last night was a surprisingly entertaining night. Went into last night. And I love this because you said you tweeted out or texted out immediately, right? Didn't watch a second of this. I feel like you are the masses. I always go into something like, let me give it a chance. Let me see. Probably going to suck. I'll give it 5 minutes. I'll dip out, go watch the Olympics or turn on some anime, call it a night, right? Like, I have no problems being like, I tried it. It was bad.
Right.
I turn on the NBA All-Star game. They're going through the thing. By the way, NBA Twitter yesterday was insane. Apparently, KD's got another exposed burner that has been dropped out here, and he's been trashing teammates. We got the Michael Jordan files where, listen, I know he's probably just being the hilarious uncle, but you can't get caught on camera, pinching the kid on the cheek, and I'm not talking about his face. It's a tough time out here to be.
Boy. All right. Doing a little.
There was a lot going on in the NBA yesterday, dog.
Really, I did miss a lot. Okay,
there was a lot going on in the NBA yesterday. So outside of all of that, the NBA All-Star game also was happening. Kevin Durant looked like he was stressing the entire time because of his burner being found out. And honestly, it was the best format I have seen outside of the Tournament of Worlds for hockey, for an all-star game in years.
Okay.
And Jordan, here's the truth about it. The format could have mattered less. It was fun. I like how they did it, Tournament of Worlds and type of thing, right? USA Stars, USA Stripes, so the old heads versus the young bucks, and also you had Team World, although Team World didn't play Jokic, didn't play Lucas, so if they played, it might be a little bit different in that conversation, but you had one guy who said he was going to go out there and he was going to buck the trend, and that was Victor Wembanyama. He came out essentially saying, hey, if y'all not going to put forth effort, I'm going to embarrass y'all, and it forced Team Stripes to go out there and play a little bit harder, which then raised the level of competition for the entire All-Star game.
Right.
And I'm here to tell you this, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't matter what the format is. Doesn't matter who the players are. Doesn't matter. Well, it does matter who the players are. I shouldn't say that. It doesn't matter which group of the star players in the league that it is, though. The bottom line is, are you putting forth effort or not? That's what changed last night. I think the format was cool, but I think any format's cool if the best players in the world care about it. And last night, JC, you saw a group of guys that cared about basketball on the floor last night, like it was a regular season game, defense throughout, playing on both ends, and not going too hard, right? You could tell they're not going 1,000%. But Victor Wembanyama set a goal last night to go out there and embarrass Muggs. And all of a sudden, it was like, hey, the NBA All-Star Game's fun again. To me, I think that says so much about what has happened during the LeBron era. You know, when they talk about, KG talked about it, LeBron messed the All-Star game up because he didn't take the torch from Kobe. Really, what messed it up is you had a bunch of guys that made it okay not to care about that game specifically, which is how it's happened across all leagues. But it's so funny to see how just a little bit of effort can take a game like that over the top and actually make it entertaining.
Yeah, the league and well, overall, the league, in my opinion, has been watered down. But I mean, when you're getting to the best of the best playing each other, All-Star game has been that way for quite some time, maybe even since the early 2000s, mid 2010s, maybe I want to say, where it just wasn't competitive. And like you said, a lot of people are just making sure that they don't get hurt. Everybody kind of look out for each other. This is buddy ball that we're playing so we can get to the second half of the season. And so it just hasn't been exciting, and it's taking away from the attractiveness of what competition is. When you're looking at every single sport, you want people who are the best in their sport to really go at it. That's what makes it entertaining. I understand the other factor of, okay, let's not try to get hurt, but then that takes away from, again, the competitive drive. So when you finally have someone who steps up and says, you know what, no, I'm going to try and make this fun again. And if you're not, following behind me, I'm going to embarrass every last one of you all. That's what it takes. And I love it that it's probably going to be the face of the league going forward in a young guy in Victor Wembanyama who's saying, hey, let's get this back to where it was in the glory days. Let's get it back to real life competition, not just kind of just going around and going about the motions. People are paying top dollar to see all of us play at the peak of our powers. And it should be fun, yes. It should be entertaining, yes. But at the end of the day, this is about competition. And so when you got one guy who is one of the best in the league, you should feel like everybody else will follow suit, because nobody would get embarrassed. If I'm a LeBron, or if I'm Kawhi, or if I'm whoever, Anthony Edwards, I don't want to be the one that gets embarrassed because I'm playing, half of my ability or halfway. I want to make sure that, okay, my competitive juices are getting going too. And so that's what I think it takes. It takes one person to kind of have that trickle down effect so everybody else can follow suit. And I think that, this could be the start of getting the All-Star game back on track the way it should be.
I think it's a bigger conversation than everything. No, honestly, we haven't seen the NBA care. And I thought it was interesting. James Harden talked about it the other day, right? He said, this is a business, and in doing business, we have honor and integrity. No, I didn't say that. But
I already got political for
little
us.
American gangster. And in doing business, you have honor and integrity. I say honor and integrity. But no, he was talking about how the NBA is a business. And I think since players have figured out that it is a business, right, and they operate in that way, he was talking about the loyalty that the league has. And he was like, there is no loyalty. This is business. You know what I mean? And as players, we have to understand that. And I think that's what's, kind of changed. And I think it's good that they've understood that, because that's how you get to more money, right? That's how you get to the big dollars. That's how you become one of the biggest leagues, the top 3 leagues in sports, because you are understanding that we need to run this like a business. What you forget so often, though, is that the consumer is the one that makes your business go. And the reason that the NBA is struggling is because when you don't put on a show for the consumer stops consuming. And I think the NBA got to a point where, and it's still at that point. I don't know if they're out of that yet, because here's the thing. You have to do this for years. I would bet you the All-Star number games suck. I would bet you most people did not watch last year. Now, positive coverage around the game might bring people back next year, some of them.
Mm-hmm.
But you're going to have to do this for years in a row, because you have lost the consumer in the business. Yes, you guys are great at business. You're dominating. You're making your money. Shout out to you. But the bottom line of all of this is that people aren't waking up and going, yo, let's talk about the NBA All-Star game. Yo, let's talk about, I can't believe that we saw that last night like they used to, right? Blake Griffin was doing this. Everybody was talking about Blake Griffin jumping over a car. You go back even further, right? When Kobe's doing a dunk contest, when you've got like guys who normally wouldn't do a dunk contest, but were saying, yo, I got to do it because I'm a star. Mm-hmm. Right? It was a badge of honor. And I'm not saying that the weekend was good. The weekend was bad. The celebrity game basically was a joke of a game, which it always kind of is. But now it almost feels like celebrities don't want to do it. Which tells you where the league is at. The celebrity 3-point contest was on Twitch.
Oh yeah, you want to drop some Bears content? Caleb didn't do so well.
Caleb was horrible. Oh, you want to talk about some Bears content?
He got killed by Drewski. I was like,
bro,
come
Caleb
on,
made one, and I know the locker room is gonna eat him alive, because there is a rim in the locker room.
They go kill him.
There's a rim in the locker room that they shoot on all the time. Now it's not regulation, so it is a little bit different. But and it probably might have hurt him, right?
That's probably why
it's only to the ceiling, so it's not that tall. It's maybe. I mean, it might be 6 feet tall, like
That's
maybe
horrible.
7. Yeah, I mean, it's a short rim, but I know they about to cook him for only knocking one down versus Drewski.
Yeah.
And like, it's just, it's one of those things where the NBA has so much to gain back ground, because what the problem has become is you've taken that business mindset, that All-Star game mindset, to the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
This is how you feel about your entire season. And so it's funny you bring up Victor Wembanyama being possibly a face of the league, right? Can he be a face of the league? Is the NBA ready? And maybe they are, but is an NBA in America ready for a foreign player to be the face of the NBA? I don't know if we there yet, dog. Giannis was arguably the greatest player in this league for a couple of years, and everybody was still like, but LeBron's the face.
I think that's just an agenda being pushed, if I'm being honest. I feel like we've had international players be at the top of the league for quite some time. And if you're talking about probably one of the best centers to ever do it, and being possibly who should have been a 4-time straight MVP in Nikola Jokic, there's that. Then you have Giannis, as you mentioned, who's been the Greek monster forever now. You got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who just won an NBA championship. You got Wembanyama, who could be possibly the greatest player ever as far as his ceiling is concerned. I mean, you got players all over the place that represent other countries and are dominating. And I think it's expanded globally for some time. But again, the agenda has been trying to make, someone, and it could have been the face of the league, could have been the Zions, the John Morants. You know what I'm saying? They had their chances.
They've openly said they didn't want it.
Yeah. And then
Anthony Edwards even has openly said, he was like, I don't want to be the face of the
NBA. I think he was the last hope, and Anthony is just playing ball. He's just doing what he does. But honestly, the world is in my opinion taking over, and I don't think that's a bad thing. I think you have a game that has been in awe from other countries for a long time. When you go back all the way to the '92 Dream Team and everybody getting killed in the Olympics by Mike and the boys and everybody. Ever since then, the world is kind of caught up when it comes to the competitiveness, and because they've seen now, if we really want a chance against these guys, we got to actually bring some real competition. And so, you have your Spain's has gotten better back when it was Paul Gasol, Marc Gasol, and all those boys, Rudy Rodriguez, who's your boy? Who was the boy wonder, the assist guy that went to the Timberwolves? Ricky Rubio. Like you had all of these players in Greece and Australia, all these players and teams that have continued to get better and better in competition. And then now that talent is coming to the league. I think just a couple of years ago in the Manas Buzelis draft, you had a couple of I want to say French players go first.
Yeah, Alex Sarr and
Zachary Richardsher. So it's good.
Why don't we do that with Alex Sarr? We don't go Alex Sarr.
This Richardsher just sounds more powerful. You can't say it normal, but it's like we're at that point, and I feel like you got to give love to the fact that maybe this is the route to go to get it back on track, because I feel like basketball, when you see it played in, like, say, the Euro League, they play more competitively. They play harder. They play like they play
90s basketball.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And so those players are coming into the league. Maybe that's what's going to get it back on track. You do like your Anthony Edwards, who are the outliers that say, hey, I don't want nobody coming to my team. I want to kill every last one of you all. That's a foreign thought now. And you claimed, like, LeBron James is probably the start of that. I don't blame technically LeBron James, but I blame that era when he came up, when you started to get the three-headed monster teams, and then everybody followed suit with the two-headed monster teams. That whole era of getting two superstars on the team or three superstars on the team, that kind of killed the league and the joy of the league, in my opinion, because you have your top tier teams who had those guys, and then everybody else was just like, well, what about us? And that's why you have the Heat and the Warriors going to the finals every doggone year. And it was boring after a while. Like you said, you're a consumer. If you're not in California, or if you're not in Miami, or if you're not in Cleveland, whatever the case, but wherever LeBron was at the time, then you don't really care to watch. So hopefully that changes.
But see, I feel like that's always been the NBA though. Like it got to a point where people were sick of LeBron, but like people were probably sick of Bird and Magic.
True.
They went every year.
Or Jordan, yeah.
Jordan went every single year. Like that's just NBA, right? Best player in the league is going to be in the NBA Finals more times than not. I think the difference that happens here in this situation is that, we talking about it from an All-Star game standpoint, but realistically, pushing out, Victor Wembanyama is exactly what people need to bridge the gap between player and or between young fans and older fans, I should say, because he plays with the mindset of an older player of, I'm gonna take everything serious. I'm gonna play hard. I'm gonna be about it. The problem that comes in there though is, can you have people relate to a Victor Wembanyama who are, and you kind of saw it during the NBA All-Star game, they were trying to put out like different stories and how he went through, of course, the blood clots last year and what he went through growing up to try and get to the NBA. He's 7'4". You know what I mean? Usually your faces of the league are people that people feel like they can somewhat identify with in some way. And bottom line, I think that he would be a great face of the league because I think he would represent the game well. You could see, even as a young player, he truly wants to represent the game in its utmost, right? In its entirety. He's taking the All-Star game serious. He's gone after Shea during the season on, this is how real basketball is played, and then beat him. He was like, all that flop baiting, we don't do that here. We play real basketball here. And then went out there and continues to beat OKC time and time again. Now, whether they do it in the playoffs or not, that'll be interesting to see. But literally hates Chet. Like, I don't know what happened with Chet. Hates Chet. Like, this is the kind of thing where it's like young player playing a modern game, playing a fast game, mixed with that old school mindset of like, I hate everybody on the other side of me, kind of like what Anthony Edwards is, but also you got to treat the game with respect. You got to do like all of these things that so many people grew up before the current generation of basketball looking at, you know, like I feel like he has all the intangibles to be the face, but is he somebody that the league can push as the face? That's a tough sell, I think, to the consumer, right? Steph probably would have been an easy face and has been a face of the NBA because he has the ability for everybody to go, I could just get in the gym and shoot as much as I want to, and I can
work on your
be
shoot.
like Stephen Curry.
Yeah.
LeBron kind of is the face because of the aspect of came up with from, you know, where he came up through, right? A lot of people can relate to that and being the star that he turned into, never really having a misstep in that and all of that, right? By the way, it was some lady last night that touched LeBron like he was an animal. That pissed me off. She just like,
really? Like you
she
just
just
saw
pet
animal
his
in his
knee.
new.
She just pet his knee while he was taking a drink, and he like side-eyed her, and that pissed me off. I ain't gonna lie to you. I be feeling bad for the players when stuff like that happen. But
We're in the zoo now. Okay.
yeah,
Right.
it was weird. But to me,
Okay.
like bottom line is, I don't know if Wemby. I think Wemby should be the face. I think Wemby has everything the NBA is begging for to be the face.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how that's received in American homes right now. And as wild as it is, I do think the NBA is a global game.
Yeah.
But the majority of that consumership is coming within the borders of America. Are you going to be able to sell Victor Wembanyama to Lil Timmy?
Yeah, little Timmy might not be 7'4" and dunking basketballs. You're absolutely right. I think that is the challenge. Is you have to kind of get over the realization that some of these players, and they've been outliers. They've been whatever you want to call them, freak athletes or just an anomaly. That's why you call Victor Wembanyama the alien. That's why you call Giannis the Greek freak, because or KD just this one of ones, because they're not your typical stature. They're not your typical everyday player that comes along like you mentioned, the Steph Currys, or even the Derrick Roses, who were kind of beloved from the world. I think a lot of people in Japan and Chinese people loved Derrick Rose because they saw themselves in Derrick Rose. I don't think you can find a lot of people that can see themselves in a 7'4" basketball player. And so I think what's going to have to happen is that it's just going to have to be consistency over time. Victor Wembanyama dominating the game and just kind of getting people used to the fact that, yes, this is the number one player. Yes, this is the number one player. Because again, if Anthony Edwards isn't taking that mantle, then who else are you going to turn to? You have to look at him and say he's the guy that's bringing relevancy back to the league. And so I think, again, it's just going to take time. It's going to take people to obviously respect the game again and connect, like you said, the old with the young. And hopefully that starts with this.
I do think it's interesting, though, that like when you look at a Victor Wembanyama, when you look at Anthony Edwards, John Morant, Zion Williamson, who else you going with? Who's the young guy that's taking it?
SGA. But does he care?
He don't want it either.
He's a champion. SGA,
he don't want it either. Like there really isn't nobody wants the LeBron mantle.
Yeah.
Nobody wants what comes with being LeBron James, which is no matter how much good you do, they're always going to see the bad in you. No matter how much you dominate, they're always going to see where your flaws are. They're always going to call you out. They go nitpick with you every day. Nobody wants that. And yeah, every player gets it to an extent, right? Whenever you mess up a parlay, you know what I mean? You're going to be the ire of somebody's upsetness on Twitter, right? But I don't know if there is a face of the NBA coming up next. Like, is Adam Silver about to be the face of this league? Like, there's not a player that wants it. There's not a player. That's a scary face. He just looks like that. He looked like his face opened up and there's that little bitty alien sitting inside of him. You know what I mean? That's running everything. Just, little Men in Black action. The light of Darth.
I forgot about that. That is a hilarious scene. I forgot about that mess. Men in Black, boy.
I don't know if there's anybody in the NBA that really wants it.
Jesus.
It might be Victor Wembanyama by default because none of the American players want it. And we talked about this, off air at a certain point, right? Like American basketball is not where it used to be at all.
The hunger the hunger has been taken out of it. It's like and again, I feel like it's also and could it be at the detriment of what we've seen? Like you talk about Steph Curry. He had such a huge impact on a lot of people and the way the game started to being played when it comes to offense and high octane offense. Of course, we saw versions of that before that. You saw the Suns when it was Steve Nash and, Amari Stoudemire and teams that were running and gunning up and down the floor. But I mean, just his version of the game where it was just chucking up threes and he was so efficient that it was like, oh man, we got to be like this guy. He's doing things that are just so electrifying and amazing and unbelievable, and he's doing it constantly. It's not like Trae Young who's just throwing up threes, but he's efficient at it. He's the best to ever do it.
Yeah.
And did that take away maybe some of the let's just say the boringness of the game? Because back in the 90s, you had your big men that you played through. You had it kind of methodical and slow and more defense and just hard-nosed, and it was tough to get points. And so your in-game scores were 95 to 100 or 95 to 87. And we loved that. We were used to that. Now when it's 95, 87,
it's a hard watch,
it's in the third quarter.
Yeah, it's a hard watch though. You ever gone back and watched some of them 90s games though?
Yeah, I get it.
It's it's a tough watch. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was different. See, this is the thing. You gotta watch one that don't got Jordan or Barkley or Duncan or watch one that don't got them in it.
Yeah.
It's a painful watch. When you're sitting there watching Sean Bradley, who was nice, but throw up some BS and you just sitting there like,
You know what? Then let's not take it that far back. Can we say that we had a respectable game back when it was the Derrick Rose, era when he was MVP?
Yeah, that's probably peak.
Really good defense.
That's probably peak NBA.
2002
to 2010-ish.
10, 12. Yeah. So I think like maybe that's where we have to try to get it back to. And again, I don't think it's that hard to get it back to it. But I mean, I think there's needs to be more commitment to obviously more defense. I think that maybe you need to stop calling as many ticky-tack fouls. That's another thing that kind of was put into the league that watered down the league in my opinion is, the hand checking got taken out, just the hard-nosed fouls. Like there's a certain level of excitement and competition that you've taken out because you don't obviously want to hurt players no matter what the sport is. But at the same time, I feel like that's what gives it its relevancy is that, maybe again, it's me versus you. And it's like, it gets watered down when we saying, oh, okay, let me not go too hard at you. Let me not elbow you. Let me not do like, back in the bad boy days, the Pistons were known for being, hard-nosed and competitive, and sometimes to the point where they'll beat you up, literally physically. And I don't think we have that type of league anymore where it's, hey, let's get a little, competitive and let's get a little hard-nosed, let's get a little bit more aggressive, and really go at it. People bark all the time. You just had the version of the Malice in the Palace not too long ago, a couple, I think a week ago.
They was throwing them joints. That was last week. They was throwing them joints.
But it lasted like 2 seconds, and then that was it.
Well, listen, JC, we don't want to fighting in the stands.
We need to
punch a fan. I want to see you punch a fan in the face.
I want to see cups thrown. I want to see people just going nuts. So no,
50-game suspensions. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah. I need 30 for 30s made about this league again. That's when it was great.
It is funny though, because it's like, I think you do have. I look at Adam Silver, and Adam Silver definitely is trying to make the game a global game, a European game. The problem is it's a European game from 1990. Like,
Mhm.
make it the European game now.
Now, yeah,
That is actually physical and competitive. And I do think, listen, last year in the NBA playoffs, it was extremely physical. I think it was a great playoff run. I think it was phenomenal. Like, I think it's one of the best that we've seen. Indiana and OKC get to the
Yeah.
finals. Not
That
the
was
exciting names that you're looking for, but if you love ball, right? Like that was back and forth. That was physical. That was how they played it.
agreed. Yeah,
I think that was, a great game. I think that is carried over, to the game today. But here's the thing: people already have their preconceived notions on the NBA. You got to win them back. You have to go through. That's why I say, like, looking at the All-Star game, looking at what Wemby did, like, there's a lot that has to be overcome for you to get back to the point where people are tuning in for your game. You lost a massive part of this audience. You lost all the old heads just about. The old dudes not watching basketball like that because they're like, this isn't the game that I grew up on. And I think that there is a point where
are we the old dudes? I
you
just thought about that.
Yeah, but I think, like, for me, I love basketball, so I can understand, okay, the game has changed and you have to change with it or you die. Right? Like, it's like me with baseball. Right? I can adjust to the changes that baseball has made. I can adjust to the differences that baseball has because I love baseball more than I love being a purist of the game, right? I love baseball more than, back in 1922 when Bang Bang Yabansky was reaching back and throwing the old slippery slope down the middle, right? Like, I think there is a point where it's like you kind of are weeding out the people that don't love that version of the game. But you do have to move forward, right? The NFL is not slamming mugs on their necks no more. They've still found a way to move forward and keep the game entertaining.
Yeah, it is.
There are times where it is too soft. There are times where it is to protect the quarterback. But I think the NBA went, we don't want any of y'all.
Yeah.
And we're just creating a new version of basketball. I don't think that's the way to go about it either. They did the opposite of what baseball did. Baseball just kind of figured it out 15 years into it and said, we're going to change it. But remember, baseball was like, we don't want no young people. 9-hour baseball games, and you're going to be out there all day. Well, I don't have to be anymore. You can't give me a 9-hour pitching duel where one run is scored. I'm not tapping in on that anymore. Now, I will, but the average fan never would.
Duel. Yeah, I appreciate a good pitching duel if it's your team. I think that's the other outlier. Here's my thing to what you said though. Like, you're saying that sometimes you feel like you have to just kind of go with the flow, or you'll get left behind, or you say you'll die. That's what I think needs to change. I think us as old heads in our sense, quote unquote, or even the older guys that do not watch this version of basketball or this version of sports, I think we have to take a stand and not watch it. You're saying, okay, I still take it in, I still consume it. I think that's what it's going to have to take also, along with the players.
I enjoy it. That's the difference. I enjoy it. But like, I enjoy the high score and the fast pace. Now, do I enjoy every game every night? No, because there are the games that are the outliers that are terrible, right? There are the Bulls. There are, I mean, like
yeah, trying to think.
Yeah, I mean, but like, I enjoy the chess game that is still the NBA. I enjoy trying to find, okay, how do you get this guy here stuck on a pin down to create an open shot over here? You still see so much of that. Like, what's funny about it is a lot of the people that are upset about where the NBA is right now are upset about a version of the NBA that they did nothing but praise and beg their team to play like for years, because most people play basketball like the Spurs. The ball movement, the willingness to get it to the next team,
fundamentally sound.
And now that's where it gets ugly, right? Like, the Bulls are not fundamentally sound, but most people's systems derive from what Pop created.
Yeah.
And that's the version of basketball that everybody hates. So, like, I can see that and be like, yeah, I don't have a problem with this. I watched this my whole life. The part that I do have a problem with is the ticky-tackness of the foul calls, right? Shea foul baiting, James Harden averaging 40 points a game, and now I got to hear P. Kid go, he's one of the greatest shooting guards of all time. And I'm like, until they added fouls back in the game, and then all of a sudden he was a very back to normal player. Like,
will it take, though, I guess maybe it's not a matter of if you like it or not, if you enjoy it. will it take a hard stand though from the normal consumer or the average consumer to say, I will not watch this until the brand gets better, and I will not give my money, I will not give revenue or my hard-earned dollars to go to a game, or to watch it on TV consistently, and then somehow, some way, the numbers go down to the point where Silver or whoever has to say, you know what, okay, there has to be a better version of this, a better brand. And again, I think it also starts with the players on the court, like you mentioned, the Wembanyamas and the Anthony Edwards, who have this different mentality, who have like that throwback mentality, and then hopefully that kind of like permeates through the league, that gets absorbed by other players to kind of follow suit. But I think it also is going to take something on our part, the fan, to say, hey, we got to put it into this too. Maybe we boycott this thing to a certain extent, and then we'll see some changes. I don't know. I don't think there's a perfect antidote to getting it back to it. I just think that time is. So you know what? Time, I think, is the antidote. I think time will slowly get this thing back to where, like you mentioned, peak basketball was in 2000 to 2012, where it's a blend of really good defense, but also high octane offense. It's exciting, but it's also respectable at the same time.
But see, I think you see where the difference has come in too is that used to happen in the regular season. It used to be your regular seasons were hard fought and grueling, and you were going through it, and then you get to listen. As good as it is that Pop brought all those systems in there, he also created load management, and that has been taken to the nth degree, to the point, dog, have you seen some of the stuff that they talking about bringing in now? They saying, maybe we do away with the NBA lottery to get rid of tanking. Tanking really is the thing that is destroyed the league. But maybe we take away the NBA lottery or draft to get rid of tanking, and we go to a free agency system. Maybe we take away, create a play-in tournament, which I said, I've had this for years, bro. I swear, there's a video on this channel that talks about how to fix tanking. And it's before the play-in tournament ever happened to any of this. I said this probably 5 years ago. You create a NIL tournament for the number 1 overall pick. Now all of a sudden you can't suck. You got to be good enough to win that game. Now all of a sudden you're in a situation where you can't suck.
No,
otherwise you're going to be, you're not going to get a good draft spot
for years.
So all of that being said, there's so many changes that Adam Silver is trying to come up with to make these changes to the league. But realistically speaking, bro, if they play like this in next year's All-Star game, or if the playoffs this year are like the playoffs were last year, you're going to start to win people back.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line of it. You're going to start to get people that want to tap in because they're going to want to know what's going on when we get to X, Y, and Z game. That's how you get the casual consumer back. And that's what was funny about watching last night. It wasn't about giving the players more money. It wasn't about the players going out there and having a different format or doing something fresh or taking away this competition. It was Victor Wembanyama going out there and basically just being like, I have to fix what I screwed up the year before. Because remember, he ended the skills competition. Him and Chris Paul doing that little janky, whatever they did in the skills competition, that ended it. They were like, we're done with this. So I feel like this was making up for the lackluster effort that he put forth in the All-Star game last year. And this year he was like, bet it up. Bro, he dunked on Kawhi Leonard. Nasty. Basically was just like, get out of my way, little boy. It's a lot of people that's not going to like Victor after that All-Star game. I can guarantee that.
Well, I mean, that's a good thing then. If you don't like it, good. I love it. But no, I agree with you. And I think that was when I was most tuned in, when you're talking about last year's playoffs. And so if it gets to that point where it's that exciting, you have a couple of teams that you don't normally see in the finals, and it's competitive. And you have that even this year. You have OKC on one end. You have Detroit, who, again, is a very up-and-coming team. That's exciting to see that, they've built their team into a powerhouse, or into at least a competitive team that is at the top of the East. Then for me, yes, that's what kind of brings that relevancy and that attention back to the league. And again, hopefully we see it continue to move forward. I do love the idea. That is a really genius idea. If you want to talk about everybody fighting for that number 1 pick and then so on and so forth after that, having a March Madness type of format where it's like you cannot just tank. You have to try and win. Otherwise, you'll be in basketball purgatory constantly. So you got to make good decisions. That's going to be that would be, I think, a good solution to, not everybody just purposely losing games to try and get the number 1 spot. So whatever happens, I hope that, and I think it will kind of reverse course, but I certainly hope it happens soon, that the NBA becomes what it was before.
Fam, I would almost consider at post All-Star break, you separate the leagues. Like, you know how in foreign country, it like a new season starts after whatever the tournament is. So they'll play a certain amount of games. They'll have their big tournament. That's the midseason tournament. And then they'll play a certain number of games in the second half of the season. I would almost be okay with that happening because you separate the playoff team. Hey, these 16 teams, y'all competing for this. These 16 teams, y'all are competing for this pick. If you win, you get the number 1 overall pick. It forces your team to still have to be somewhat good. You can't go out there and build a team of young dudes that all suck and say, we'll be good in 5 years.
Yeah.
It forces you to have people on your team that are actually talented. Because if you want to get your team better, and now you're not giving a young player to a team that does nothing. Now you're not putting, Zion Williamson down in New Orleans or maybe you are if New Orleans wins it, but now for the most part, you're probably not putting guys into these spots where there is no veteran help, where, hey, it's your team and everybody else is the same age as you. So everybody that's around you you're the leader of this group of kids.
Yeah.
Welcome to the league, 19 years old. Everybody's not built for that.
Yeah.
I think it develops the player a little bit more as well. We'll see what ends up happening, man. Listen, I enjoyed the NBA All-Star game thoroughly. I did not enjoy the weekend, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the All-Star game itself. I thought it was very competitive, and hopefully we can see year after year of this. Victor Wembanyama trying to do it. Let us know how you guys feel in the comments below. Do you think that Wemby can be the face of the NBA moving forward? I don't know if I buy that just yet, but we'll see. Hey, man, appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. As always, for Mr. Media himself, Jordon JC, it is your boy, Pat the Designer, back at it again. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Bed down. One love. I don't know what to say for the freaking NBA. I don't
NBA cares.
NBA cares. Do they? I don't think they do.
We'll see.
We'll see. I don't buy it. Does the NBA care? Care my.
Oh man.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I saw highlights of that Caleb Williams contest. He started off good. I think he made one of his first 3 shots. I was like, okay.
Nah, I don't think he started off good. It was pretty bad all the way through.
I was like, all right, okay, all right, okay. He's not going to make it anymore.
Yeah. Hey, he's a football player, ladies and gentlemen. He's a football player.
Got to work on that accuracy.
I bet you even he was surprised when he showed up and they just had one cameraman for Twitch.
Yeah, it was just one angle. Come on now. Can we get a couple?
It was just the phone. It was just a